maybe there's something wrong with me, but I like being in court. When a lot of people think of court, really what they're thinking of is probably what they've watched on TV or in the movies, high drama, like pulling out the smoking gun, the gotcha moment. A lot of people wonder, to get a personal injury settlement, do they have to go to court to do that? So in any personal injury case, there are really two big phases or stages to the case itself. The first stage is called the pre-suit stage, and then the second stage is litigation or in the court system. So we're going to be talking about those in this video. So the pre-suit stage means exactly what it sounds like. So it's pre-suit, meaning pre-lawsuit, right? So lawsuit is what, obviously it's a term that's kind of thrown around in a lot of different ways, but lawsuit actually means the initial document that starts the court process. So for any personal injury case, if you just hire an attorney, that doesn't mean that you filed a lawsuit. Most personal injury cases, especially car accident cases, they start in what we call the pre-suit process, meaning pre-court, right? So during this process, there's an investigation that's being done on the case. All of the insurance companies involved, or the people, the individuals and companies who have caused the injuries, they're being notified of the claim. There's initial information that is exchanged on the claim. And, like in a car accident case, there's a lot of back and forth with the insurance companies. We're discovering how much and what types of insurance coverage are available during this phase. And also, while we're doing all this work with all of the different parties involved, our clients are taking the time and doing what they need to go through the medical treatment process and hopefully heal. And if they're not healing, then at least they're getting more information about their injuries, more information about what the future looks like. And so in car accident cases, a lot of these cases will actually settle during this pre-suit phase, meaning before you ever get into court. Slip and falls, products liability, those are less likely to settle during this phase, but it does happen sometimes. And other types of personal injury cases are probably even less likely to settle during the pre-suit phase. And so to kind of bring the pre-suit phase full circle, you're exchanging information with the insurance companies during this phase. And ultimately, in most cases, we would give the insurance company an opportunity to be fair and settle the case for fair money during this phase of the process. Once we get that offer, we're having a conversation with our client about that offer. We're saying, hey, we think it's a good offer. Hey, we don't think it's a good offer. Or, hey, it's somewhere in between. And so it's really your call. Almost always, if there's more money available to recover than what they're offering, we're telling our clients that we're really confident that we can increase the offer in the court system, in the litigation process. But it's really your call if you want to go that route. And so if the client tells us they want to go to court, we're in. Normally what I'm telling clients during this conversation is, maybe there's something wrong with me, but I like being in court. And so we would file the lawsuit, which we discussed earlier. That's what starts the litigation phase of the case, or that means you're in the court system, right? And so when a lot of people think of court, really what they're thinking of is probably what they've watched on TV or in the movies, high drama, like pulling out the smoking gun, the gotcha moment. Really what that part of the litigation process is trial. And so think of trial as the end of the court process. That's the final phase of the litigation process. And fortunately, it takes a long time to get to trial. Most people understand the court systems are overloaded. And once you're in the court system, it takes a long time to get through that process. And so trial is at the end. We're thinking, or think in your mind, 18 months at best, probably more 2 years ish to get to trial. But the encouraging thing to note is you can resolve your case, you can settle your case at any point in time before trial. And actually, the courts are so overloaded that they want you to settle cases so you can get off their list and create some space in the court system. So there are lots of things and rules in place that are designed to encourage you to settle the case before getting to trial. Some of the things to note if you're a client and you're kind of thinking about the litigation process, generally what we're telling our clients is, hey, most of that process is on us and we're doing legal stuff, lawyer stuff that you don't have to worry about. But there are parts of that process that will require you, and it's because we can't do it for you. And so one of those is most likely if there's a lawsuit filed in your personal injury case, you're going to be deposed or have to give a deposition. Think of this as an interview under oath. This is the other side's one opportunity to ask you questions. You would be under oath. Since COVID, almost all of these depositions are via Zoom. Before COVID, they were almost all in person, but now they're via Zoom. So when our clients go through depositions, we tell them you can do it from wherever you're most comfortable. Most of the time, they'll come to our office and we'll sort of Zoom in together. So it'll be me and the client, and then we'll Zoom in, and the other lawyer will just be on the screen on Zoom, and there'll be a court reporter as well. The other thing that requires you, the client, is the discovery process. So most people have heard the term discovery, but really all that means is the formal exchange of information in a lawsuit. And so the other side will send us discovery and they're asking for information about you, the client. And so generally, like 85% of that we'll be able to answer without your help, but there'll be 15% or so that we will need your help on. And so we'll reach out to you for that. We'll put it all together for you and send it over to the other side. Obviously, we're sending them discovery as well. And so the litigation process, again, it can be long. What we promise our clients, to the extent the ball is in our court, we move very, very, very quickly, but moving very, very quickly in court or in litigation is really slow for real life standards. So those are the two big phases for a personal injury case: pre-suit and litigation. I appreciate you guys tuning in.